Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories, shall we? The first story is called Let's Just Take the Job. My dad works for Mike, the owner of a construction company. Part of my dad's job is to study the plans and quote and place a bid on the company's behalf. It's important to note that the quote is usually made by someone with knowledge about construction and the different steps required for the job. One day, my dad receives a quote that looked a bit botched. The document is a patchwork of different sections taken from past quotes of similar jobs. The whole thing has been made by Jeannie McGeaney Inc. Far from knowing anything related to construction, Jeannie is actually the executive director of the town's council. Not making any sense of the plans, Mike suggests to refrain from bidding on the job or to ask the mayor to issue new plans made by a professional. My dad tells him that instead they should take the job as it is and work on the details later. Mike's company places a bid on the job and, unsurprisingly, gets it. But it only took a few days to hit a rock wall. The top 30% of the ground they had to dig was easily removed. As for the remaining 70%, it was solid rock and needed special equipment to deal with. The contract usually has multiple instructions in regards to unexpected situations. The workers can just refer to the contract and follow the authorized solutions. However, no such information was in the botched contract. Cue malicious compliance. Not wanting to rent the specialized equipment at their own expense, Mike's company contacted the mayor's office. The mayor has to discuss the issue with the council, only to come to the inevitable conclusion that they have to pay for the equipment. All the while, the workers on the construction site still get paid while waiting for the decision. What had been estimated as a 30k job ended up costing the town 90k. And to my dad's knowledge, Jeannie never did a quote for the town ever again. The next story is called They Did What They Were Told. I have worked and collaborated for some years with the police in my city, Valencia in Spain. And to this day, they still tell the tale of the funniest malicious compliance that was done by two officers in the late 80s or early 90s. There was a festivity where a statue was walked in a procession through the city center. It ended in the port of Valencia, where they put it in a ship in order to transport it to its original place. Two police officers were entrusted with escorting the statue with their motorbikes. The inspector who ordered it was said to be rude. He said something in the lines of, "You better be glued to the statue, wherever it goes, you two go with it." The service seemingly went okay for the police officers. But after some days, the police department received a call from the port authority. They were informed that there were two police motorbikes parked several days inside the port. That was when the inspector realized what had happened. Cue the malicious compliance. As you may already have guessed, the police officers went inside the boat together with the statue. The statue belonged to a cathedral located in Ibiza. And they spent some days on the isle, enjoying themselves, before going back to Valencia, where the superiors finally contacted them and ordered them to come back. They did what they were told. And decades later, their colleagues that are still working still remember this tale. The third story is called HR Did Not Pay Attention to This. This happened 5 or so years ago in the UK. The company I had been working at brought in new rules, processes and whatnot regarding business continuity. And as such, we all had to switch to laptops that had to be taken home with us. I was one of 4 people who commuted almost exclusively via motorbike, except in the depths of winter. And herein lies the problem for us bikers. The rules they set up didn't include any provision for bikers. I was the first to speak to HR and the department organizing all this to ask about this. All the rules said the laptop had to be kept in the storage area of the vehicle, i.e. the boot. However, bikes don't have this. Also, part of the terms and conditions of my insurance stated I cannot carry items over a certain size and or weight in a backpack while riding. Also, lithium batteries could not be carried this way, full stop. I actually checked, and 4 of the last 5 insurance policies I have stated this. HR responded that we have to abide by the rules. And as such, we must have relevant storage fitted to our bikes. However, the storage items themselves are company property and can't be used for personal things. Also, the company will pay for this to be done. Also, if you need to add insurances for carrying work items, you must obtain this and the company will reimburse you. If you don't do this and refuse to take your laptop home, you will face disciplinary actions until you do. Here is where we bikers get clever. We all go to the same place in my city that works on bikes. And we all purchase the same kit for our bike, which is the frame for attaching the pannier boxes and top boxes. We all purchase a full set of boxes for each bike. Then we also buy separately another full set of boxes. During this, it turns out 3 out of 4 bikes will need some rear panels cutting to allow the frames to attach. Because of this, we had the shop order new panels for the bikes as well. We all then approached human resources and handed over the bills. It was approximately between 400 and 600 pound per bike for the frame and fitting. And another 500 pound for the boxes. We got cheaper boxes in the second order. HR actually refused to pay anything. They said it was our choice to fit the stuff, or face disciplinary for not taking the laptops home each day. At this point, the most senior of us pulled out the email that said they would pay for the work. He argued the company was essentially blackmailing us and he wouldn't stand for it. However, HR stood firm. It took nearly 6 weeks of arguing, especially after we built them for the replacement body panels. But in the end, after a threat of involving solicitors, the company backed down. However, they refused any future requests and exempted staff with only bikes for the main transport, not including the public, from being disciplined for not taking laptops home. So, in the end, I got a pannier and top box frame attached to my bike and paid for by the company. And I bought a sweet set of panniers and boxes as well for when I left. The company paid out around 5k in total to us 4 bikers. However, they never learned. I still hear of them making dumb mistakes or oversights that end up costing them money, in one case over $1 million. The last story is called "Looks Like It Needed Wrapping." I'm a retail merchandiser. I assist with refills and new store setups. Sometimes I just get sent to be an extra pair of hands where a store has too many people off sick or on holiday. And even during refills, we are sometimes expected to work the delivery for the aisles that we've been rearranging that night. The store's own staff have for obvious reasons been unable to access them all night. On this particular shift, we'd been doing the beers, wines and spirits section. Now this is the sort of shift where you are practically guaranteed to get some wastage. Bottles smash, cans split, it's just accepted as the price of moving literally hundreds of them in the course of a single night. All you can do is hope you are not the only one who goes home smelling like a brewery. We had finished up the actual move and had started working the 6 pallets of delivery as well. But the store manager was fretting. He was starting to get very antsy about our chances of finishing up and clearing the floor before the store opened for the day. And his main concern was about how we were handling the overstocks. We had absolutely blitzed the first pallet, all hands working it and it alone, in order to empty it so we could stack the overstocks onto it. As soon as the last case of booze was removed from the blue boards, we moved the overstocks onto it. And then we split up to work the other 5 pallets simultaneously. As we worked, we added more to the first pallet. When we are in luck, we can get the overstocks from 6 pallets of delivery onto a single pallet. By the time the manager came around, dragging a pump truck with him, the stack was about 4 boxes high, about hip high on me. It wasn't the prettiest pallet stack you've ever seen, but it was stable. Well, it wasn't moving. Someone had gone to fetch a roll of pallet wrap, so we could move it easily. But that's the sort of thing that store staff tends to hide and guard jealously, so we knew he'd be gone for a while. The manager asked, "What's this pallet?" Someone said, "Delivery overs. It needs to be off the floor. A coworker has gone to get the shrink. I want it gone, now. It's not safe to move without wrap. You don't need that if it's stacked properly. Move it now." At that point, he shoved the handle of the pump truck at the closest person, which was me. And he stood back to make sure that we removed the pallet from the shop floor. Now, I'm not the best pump truck operator in the world. I have a lack of proprioception that extends to anything that I'm pushing, pulling, carrying or steering. Normally, I wouldn't go anywhere near a pallet of glass bottles. But everyone else backed away. They knew what would happen if anyone jacked that pallet up and tried to move it, and they wanted no part of it. The manager obviously wanted it moving though, and it was his store. So I carefully got the forks under the pallet, now ramming it in for this baby. I gently lifted it off the floor and started moving as smoothly as I could. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, entered the slalom of bakery tables and fridges between alcohol and warehouse. I surprised myself by getting past the individual rolls table without incident. But when I started to maneuver around the cream cakes fridge, I heard the unmistakable sound of bottles smashing. I looked behind me to confirm it. A corner of the pallet had decided to acquaint itself with the linoleum-covered concrete floor. Wine, whiskey, vodka, and rum were all mixed in a spreading puddle on the floor. Oh, and on the manager. He had been following behind, presumably wanting his pump truck back once the pallet was stowed away. But he hadn't bothered to try and stabilize the collapsing boxes. My team leader had also been following, at a more sensible distance. He said, "Looks like it needed wrapping." Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click here to subscribe to the channel, or click here to watch another of my videos. Have a great day. Bye bye.